I want to comment about the U.S. flag. Um, that you hear it from this fascist right wingers that how sacred the U.S. flag is, and I don't know which history book they read, but um, the United States flag came to be as a result of the largest genocide committed against humans in recorded history. The the Native American population, the at least the one in the entire continent of the Americas, they don't know how many there were, but estimates go as high as 100 million people were murdered by European Christians who invaded the American continent. But to focus more on on the northern the North American continent and the part of that continent that's known today as the United States of America, um, the the way it was built, the way this country came to build, was through the killing, the mass murder, the genocide of the Native American populations, the theft of their land, the way that the southern part of not the southern part of the entire United States um, came to be, as far as the labor engine that fed it was through slavery. So for 400 years, the economic engine of this country, of this nation, was the United States, was slavery, slave labor. So and also the western half of the United States was stolen from Mexico through the use of aggressive war in just like Hitler started invaded and took over. It was a bait, a war. They baited the Mexican um, people and the Mexican government, and they baited them to a war and said that it was a group that they started, and they didn't start it. They've been there forever. I mean, look at half of the names of the United States. Colorado means red in Spanish. Nevada means snowy. Montana means mountain. And so you put the apostrophe on top of the N, and it's montaña. The Arizona is arid zone. So it's all, look at all the names and all that in California and everything. They're all Spanish names because that belonged to Mexico and it was stolen by the United States government through the use of military force. So for those people that you hear, the United States flag is sacred and everything, there's nothing sacred about how that flag came to be. It's got more blood on it than we care to admit. So if you don't, want to stand for the flag and for what it stands for, because people say, "Oh, it stands for freedom and honesty and all this shit and democracy." It doesn't. And that's not how that flag came to be. That flag came to be through the use of aggressive illegal warfare, theft, genocide, slavery. That's how that flag was built. So I don't have to stand for it. Some of my ancestors were taken the land of this peninsula of Florida. We lived here for thousands of years, and some of my ancestors were taken by the United States government. I believe it was Andrew Jackson who gave the order for the Trail of Tears, rounded up, kidnapped, and enslaved and thrown into the Badlands of the United States, basically concentration camps in the middle of nowhere. They were told, "This is yours now, and this is your nation. This is your territory." So, and they called them Indian reservations. So, no, I don't have to stand for that flag. And what that flag really stands for is shameful. It truly is. And it didn't stop back then. It continued in Vietnam. It continued in Korea. It continued in the Middle East, where the most recent bloodbath sponsored by the United States government under the guise of weapons of mass destruction and the necessity of a war, which was nothing but a war for profit, was the bloodbath and the genocide of up to, well, we don't know the exact number. Probably we'll never know, but there were a million Iraqi people, that most of them were civilians that that were killed by United States armed forces uh, under the orders of the top brass in the government and the Bush administration and the Bush family. Uh, with the lies that they told the world that we needed to invade Iraq. We did not need to, not even the first one. We just, they could have done surgical strikes against Saddam Hussein, and before they went in and attacked in this completely unnecessary war on Iraq, they the Iraqis had left Kuwait. Um, so but people eat it up. It's for freedom and democracy and all this, bullshit. It's not. It's about the control and bullying and control of resources. And now, because of the Bush family and the United States corporations, the industrial military complex, we have one of the biggest messes in the Middle East because of that, all the destructions and the hundreds of thousands of people that have been killed and all the mess, the vacuum of power that was created. Now we have ISIS. So ISIS is a direct result of the Bush families and the United States government, uh, murders campaigns on Iraq and other places, and the support of one of the most brutal regime in the area, which is the Saudi Arabia dictatorship, the family that owns family. There's the most brutal regime. They're bombing the crap out of poor people in Yemen. Um, and we sell them. We just sold them. I think it was 110 billion or 150 billion worth of weapons to kill those people, to kill a bunch of poor, broken people. But as long as they're fed this narrative that they're terrorists and they're Arab Islamic terrorists, it's okay to kill them all. When the reality is, there's people that they live in piss poor conditions, and they've been cut off by the rest of the world. And not only that, now the United States has always been supporting the most brutal terrorist regime that we have right now. Right next to the Saudi Arabians is the right-wing Israeli government that's going on today, and the right-wing Israeli terrorist regimes that have been terrorizing the Palestinian people for 70 years. So to say that the United States flag is something to venerate and to stand in front of and hold as a symbol of honesty and freedom and good values, it's a joke. It truly is. It has never been. It was built with blood, the blood of the Native Americans, the blood, the sweat, the death, the tears of the African Americans, both of those ethnicities. I have ancestors, and I also have ancestors who were European. So, no, I don't have to stand for it. I refuse to, as a matter of fact. I refuse to, and it's a protest, specific.